Good morning, folks. Hope everybody's well out there. So what we're going to do, we're in Saarlouis here in Germany at the moment. So we're here to test out the car on the Autobahnen, the Citroën C4 Cactus here with the 1.2 litre 3-cylinder petrol engine, gasoline engine, and of course the magical six-speed manual gearbox here. So yeah, we'll get to stretch its legs on the Autobahn and see what it can do. So we'll talk about the stability and the top speed and the wind and road noise at speed and all those sorts of things. So yeah, so we're only about 2 kilometres away from the Autobahn, or even less. So we'll talk about it in the next couple of minutes. So there we are, straight over. Yeah, we'll talk about that in the next couple of minutes, so stay tuned in the next couple of seconds. Yeah, so let's go past the Skoda dealership. And stop sign.
Turn right, B405, Maxerstrasse, then, after 40 metres, turn right, A620, E29, towards Neunkirchen.
Petrol price here is €1.56.9 a litre. Diesel is €1.27.9, so it's still on the dear side. And that, whichever way you look at it, that's around about $2.35 Australian per litre, so around about $2.27, $2.88 Canadian per litre, probably around about, I think around about $6.40 per US gallon. So that's US dollars per US gallon. Not all the Autobahn is unlimited. There are areas where there are a lot of permanent speed limits, like this one is an example, which is 120k an hour, and this is 224k out of Karlsruhe on the Autobahn A620. So yeah,
Exit ahead,
a couple of the other exits there, back to Saarlouis.
After 400 metres, take the motorway.
But yeah, further down they usually de-restrict, or a lot of sections of the Autobahns here in Germany have variable speed limits which they can defect down to 90k, 100k, 110, 120k an hour, and it all varies depending on the areas. And typically in a lot of urbanised areas where there's Autobahns, motorways, they can be right down to 100k an hour permanently, just to justify the extra traffic. Yeah, so this one takes us this one can take us back to Luxembourg, but we're not going to Luxembourg today. Luxembourg and Karlsruhe. Yeah, so not the Autobahn's not a racetrack. It's the Autobahn. The term Autobahn is the German term for motorway or freeway. It's taking us to the exit to Karlsruhe anyway on this one. So yeah, let's see, where are we? Luxembourg, Merzig, Diligent Mitte, Karlsruhe, Koblenz, Trier, Neunkirchen. Yeah, so I'll just go for a bit of a drive on the Autobahn and show people what it's like. It's only another version. The term Autobahn is the German term for motorway or freeway.
Follow A8
so it's not the German term for racetrack. That is not the case. Yes, there are areas where there's no speed limits, but that doesn't mean everybody's a racing driver or any other bullshit you might have heard over the years. So yeah, so this area, same thing again. It's 100k an hour through this. The area is generally pretty tight. But yeah, so the speed limits on German Autobahnen reflect the conditions. But yeah, so this area up here takes us to Saarlouis and Steinrausch. There's Dillingen, Saarlouis Road and Hafen, 500 metres. But we stay on this Autobahn for 72 kilometres. And this will give us a test. We're not going to do the video for 72 kilometres, obviously, but this will give us an idea of how it all works. You can see the exits under the name of Ausfahrt, which is the German term for exit. And here we are, coming up here is the unlimited section, and you'll see the signs. You've got your distance signs to exits, 1500 metres, 650 metres, and this is where the speed limit is no longer applicable. So let's see how it goes. So this is third gear, maxes out at 135k an hour. Now up to fourth. And same thing again. I mean, this is a good road, but it's not the. Some of Australia's motorways are in better condition than this. So Basically, in Germany, you choose a speed to suit the conditions on the autobahns. If you're driving all over the road, you will get a ticket. If you drive dangerously, you will get a ticket. Yeah, so it does tend to float a little bit at over 160k an hour. I mean, this is fourth gear now. This is on 171, 173, pretty much 175 on the rev limiter down to fifth. And we're just holding it flat. It only tops out at 188k an hour anyway. But you notice out quarters and so forth. This is a right-hand sweeper now, and you can feel the body start to roll a bit. So you just adjust your speed accordingly, and just keep it flat now. It's in fifth gear. 170k an hour, 172. But yeah, you just pick a speed to suit the conditions. 176. We've got a few straight stretches coming up anyway. So another car in the inside lane, which we're coming up to. Got a Mercedes behind us at a safe distance. 175k an hour. Neunkirchen, 34 kilometres. Karlsruhe, 215. And you can feel the body start to float now at this sort of speed. But once we complete our overtaking manoeuvres, we get the fuck out of the outside lane. 179. And we'll go up another gear, we're only get 181, and see you've got faster traffic, even though we're sitting on 179. And we've got Mercedes, he's doing about 190, 195 at the moment. I can't catch him at the moment, I'm full throttle. So we just keep on following the cars. You can just feel the car start to rock and roll a little bit in hardcore and very fast, high speed cornering now. But I've got the radio turned right down so we can assess the actual car noises, like the road noise, the wind noise. I mean, there is a little bit of wind noise here from the B pillars, as you can probably hear. At 186, and we're coming up to traffic, so you always got to watch out for other cars. You're closing speed to other cars, and see how the windscreen wipers work at speed. They stay pretty much glued. Yeah, so basically same thing again, safe speed for the prevailing conditions. Yeah, so a little bit of a rain shower, but nothing too dramatic at the moment anyway. But yeah, this car doesn't have an abundance of power or anything like that. And the ride actually is very comical. It really is comical when you're starting to cruise at high speed, when you're cornering at high speeds. But even so, you're observing your other traffic, slower traffic that's in the inside lane, you're observing your closing distance towards them. So yeah, it's not a case of simply putting your foot down and hoping for the best. That's just stupidity. But you can see up here we're closing in on other cars anyway, where the Mercedes that overtook us before, he's closed in on another car. Yeah, so there's one of the power generating windmills. Same thing again, you see how you have no do-gooders in the outside lane of the Autobahnen. In fact, throughout Europe that is the case. And you've got Mercedes here. Mercedes, if he's going to put his foot down or not. He shouldn't have overtook us before. There we go, so 186, 187 on the Belgian waffle. See what speed he wants, he's cruising around 170 at the moment. 160, 170. Get out of the outside road, mate. That's what you do. You got other cars which are pulling out and overtake anyway at good time, so same thing again, you observe your distance to them. But the number one thing to remember on the Autobahn is the lane discipline. The lane discipline is second to none. In fact, that's generally speaking throughout Europe, the lane discipline is of a first-rate nature, and it's not hard to do. It doesn't cost any physical strength to get out of the outside lane. It doesn't cost anything of the sort. And you can see the road surface up here starting to undulate a little bit. So, contrary to popular belief, the road surface of the Autobahn isn't what you'd call glass smooth in many areas. I mean, you can see changing patchwork over here and all those sorts of things. And you look to sides where the trees are. Not all the Autobahns have animal bridges. There's a lot of misconception misconceptions about that. So I've got an downhill stretch, we'll be able to push it out a little. We've got no cars in the outside lane, up to 6. You can see how fast it goes before we've got the left-hand sweeper. 191. I'm afraid that's pretty much all it's going to offer anyway. I don't think it's going to offer too much more than that. Gee, you've got your closing distances on other cars, and you've got your speed limits up here. This is 100 here, so depending on the area will depend on what speed limit actually applies. And about 400 metres up here, this is where the speed limit ends again, so you can see it up here. Neunkirchen 21, Karlsruhe 202 k's. Yeah, so you've got a Porsche Boxster by the looks of things. You see, same thing again. Overtake, get out of the outside lane. How much did it cost me to do that? How much? See, my wallet is still full. Didn't cost me a cent. See, mirror signal manoeuvre, mirrors, blind spots, signal manoeuvre. Same thing again, overtake, back out of the outside lane. And same thing again, observe your traffic ahead and to both sides. And this is back down to 120 k an hour. This gantry over here, people, is a speed camera. This is where you've got to be very mindful of these sorts of things, and have an array of cameras sometimes to the side of the gantry as well. Yeah, so whilst you can drive fast within your whilst you can drive fast, and the things you've got to remember are these. First of all, don't exceed your own capability. Don't exceed your own capability. Don't exceed the car's capability. Don't exceed the situation's capability, like weather, road, traffic, all those sorts of things. Observe good tyre pressures and make sure your car's in very good mechanical condition. Observe whether it's day, night, your own visual range. Take all these things into consideration. Observe all these sorts of things. As I said before, yes, your own ability, vehicle's ability, and yes, high-speed handling is very important in my book. It always has been and always will be. And see, same thing up here again, the 100 speed zone ends. And there we go again. I'm truck in the inside lane. You can anticipate that these two cars in the inside lane behind him will overtake. I can see them, they should be able to see me. So same thing again, old mate in the Skoda station mate gets out of the outside lane. You see, this is how it all works. Cologne, Koblenz, Trier, Regensburg, Hirschade. But yeah, you got varying speed limits, so you can go flat tack for a little bit, and then you've got another speed limit which more or less just starts shortly after. But the same thing again, it's all applicable to the situation at hand. So if we get out of the outside lane here, down to 100 k an hour here. And you can see all your applicable risks, like this one here has the deer warning and those sorts of things. So you pick a speed. So in this case, you've got 100 k an hour through here. So next exit we have up here coming, we've got Mönchfeller 1000 Met. Okay, so you've got all the different areas and exits. But yeah, so the Autobahn isn't always 3 lanes or anything like that at all. It's a lot of the Autobahnen, not just here but throughout Germany, are only 2 lanes. And that's what a lot of people think. They're automatically 3 lanes. They think the area is glass smooth, like it's been polished with a fine microfiber cloth or something like that. I mean, I know we've got a lot of do-gooders in our country that can't drive to save themselves, but whilst the driving tests are one thing, and Australia's driving test is basically a block around the car park in comparison to a lot of countries, but a bigger problem remains with the fact that well, a lot of Australians, and the same thing unfortunately with Americans and Canadians too, they're taught rubbish at the post license level after they've gotten their license. and they're taught rubbish, especially in Australia, where you got a lot of do-gooders that think speed kills. And as a result, you've got a low-performance driving culture that think that if you break the speed limit by 1k an hour or more, you're going to suddenly die. So I don't know how the authorities have gotten away with with the Oceania region's biggest con job. But back to de-restricted again. But so you've got to train drivers up. If you want them to become of a better standard, you have to drive them up. And a lot of the Australian authorities think that driver training doesn't work, but they've based this on one flawed study in America, which goes against the grain, of what reality actually is. Now, if somebody's a bad driver, do you train them up or do you dump them down? What's the rule? What rule do you use? Do you train them up or dump them down? If their observation's poor, they sit in the outside lane when they're not overtaking, their general driving standard is crapola. Do you train them up, teach them the correct methods, or do you dumb them down? What's the best method, you think? What's the best method? See, I'll let you be the judges of that. So down to 100k an hour again. Still 100k an hour up here. And of course these signs here, you'll see that it's 100, 80k an hour by an asset, which means when wet, 80 kilometres an hour when wet. So same thing again, 100k an hour, 80k an hour when wet. Here's one of the many Autobahn bridges going through all these little towns. So as you can see, there's all other drivers that have towing trailers, those sorts of things. So you just be observing as to all your traffic. So how far are we out? So Rex Fagergebot, Neunkirchen 8Ks, Karlsruhe 189. But yeah, so you observe a rule over here called Rex Fagergebot, which means keeping as far right as possible. This has got a limit of 130k an hour, this section of Autobahn here. So the speed limits vary, and from 130 on, the next sign you'll see is de-restriction, depending on the area. 7.5 tonne. So all sorts of traffic use the Autobahnen. Baystau Rettungsgasse. Translated English, Baystau, in other words, traffic jam, cut sudden stop. Rettungsgasse means leave a way open. So what you do is you keep to our driver's side, our offside, and you keep as far as possible to your right hand, and the other traffic keeps as far as possible to the right hand side. In other words, you leave an emergency corridor. Ausfahrt, exits. Karlsruhe, Mannheim, Pirmasens, Neunkirchen, Oberstadt. So you observe all your road signs, and you always got your distance signs to different exits. 130k, 100k an hour. He doesn't know what he's doing, so he gets back out into the middle lane. Not familiar with the area. So yeah, you've got all these other distance signs. Eider, Oberstein, St. Wendel, Ottweiler, Neunkirchen City. Let's see, same thing again. Overtaking, and safe, back out of the outside lane. It's very easy to do, very easy to use. So you've got other cars coming onto the Autobahnen. You observe your closing distances. Same thing again. Hyundai i30. So you overtake, once completed, there are signal maneuver, check blind spots, etc. 130k an hour zone around here. Pirmasens, Zweibrücken, Karlsruhe. There's all the pedestrian overpasses and those sorts of things. All made on the top of the overpasses, observing the view. Neunkirchen Oberstadt, 1000 metres, 130 zone. an hour zones, it's common to do between 10 to 20k an hour over the limit anyway. Around 140, 150 is quite common. Between 140, 150, 145 at the moment. But yeah, no, the German Autobahnen are a great way to get to places quickly, but most importantly, safely. There's another one. No farts. Pause it there for now. Yeah, so for now we'll go and have a look at a bit of the handling tests, have a look at the way this car handles. So we'll have a little bit of a look-see on a couple of the bends and that. So yeah, so early impressions are the fact that yes, it does change direction. Okay, the body does tend to roll in high-speed cornering, and it does tend to have a bit. It does have a floaty ride, albeit very comfortable, but. The thing is, it's not whilst not a driver's car, you can admire it, however, for the way it actually rides so comfortably and has a lot of charm in that respect. There's steering feel's not too bad. The steering feel's quite okay. The steering feel is quite okay. It's light steering, very light to steer. The gear change quality is okay too, with the 6-speed manual gearbox, light clutch, which is easy to use. Yeah, so no problems with shifting gears. And yeah, so overall it's not bad. It's not a hard-edged driver's car, but still okay. However, yeah, so very comfortable, but not really a driver's car. And the body roll is comical when it's pushed. But the thing is, it's not too bad for a little bit of fun.
After 400 meters, bear left, Bebenheim Strata.
Pedals are a little bit far away. The brake and throttle for heel and toe, they're at different heights. Here we go. Ready?
Bear left.
Yeah, so
After
over
400
undulations.
meters, bear left.
Over undulations, it tends to float a little bit. But even so, the ride remains comfortable nonetheless.
Bear left, Bebenheim Strasse. Then, after 50 meters, turn left, L110, Hauptstrasse. Turn left.
Pause it.